no strategy will make you profitable over the long run, but you can make any strategy profitable through your intuition, discretion, all that stuff, that experience. You've cultivated that trading skill because market conditions are constantly changing, and you just need to be able to adapt to that. Because obviously, extremely directional conditions or volume ranging, maybe you're in a little bit of a downtrend, or a continuation of the overall direction. A bit of a range, more bearish, not as strong directionally bullish, but still directional there. Same here as well. So like being able to adapt to changing volume, changing conditions. The point of this journal, how I've set it up, is that all these are just like variables. These are like either conditions, so what pair it is, what time it is, what market conditions there are, and then there's reasons for maybe why I took the trade. So certain time frames aligning. It's we'll go through the types a bit later. Type 3 is just a shift. Market or limit, just tracking stuff. I don't really focus on this, but I just track it. Correlation as well. Wick fills, if I'm taking a trade and the candle doesn't have a bottom or top wick, how does that affect that? Days and months. The thing with Notion is that this is kind of like Excel. This is, you can add like screenshots so you can like visualize the trades. You can add pages with examples as well to create your own kind of like playbook and that sort of information. But yeah, that's a journal. That's kind of, you need to be like tracking or getting feedback. So feedback of how the plan's going in certain conditions, how well your approach is doing, and then how well you're executing on that approach. So it's about checking how your plan's going and how you're going. That's the main benefit. And then that kind of allows, when you're focused on journaling, you're in a bit of a forward testing, data collection mentality. When you're kind of focused on journaling trades, learning from each individual trade, I like to think of it as, when I journal every trade, it allows me to not just look at each trade I take as a win or a loss, but more from the point that every trade I take, I'm collecting new data that can help me be more profitable. So if I win, okay, that's good. Most of the time, I don't really learn that much from my wins. But if I lose, that's an amazing opportunity for me to improve. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe the conditions weren't good. I can look at that trade. Maybe I was looking for a certain thing that keeps like popping up. So like recently, if there's no wick, I kind of recognize that maybe that's more likely for that trade to be a loss, because volume's going against me. I shouldn't be trading for wick fills as much. So all these variables tracking that, and then it simply becomes the process of doing more of what works and less of what doesn't. And when you're journaling, you either win a trade or you learn something new. So it's kind of like a win, you gain. And when you're focused on learning, you make it inevitable for you to achieve what you want out of trading. If you're focused on winning, you're more likely to make mistakes, because when you're focused on performance or on the outcome, which you can't control in any aspect of life, focusing on performance leads to performance anxiety. So the more you focus on it, the harder it kind of gets, because you're more attached to the outcome, the more likely you are to fuck it up. I can talk to a girl I'm not attracted to very easily, but if it's some 10 of 10, I start to stutter and make mistakes. And that's kind of also affected by risk as well. So risk management, you want it to be not too low that you're bored or complacent, but also not too high that you're overly anxious, fearful, so much worry or stress. There's going to be a window, and it is decided by your unique psychology as well. What's your risk management approach at the moment? And you kind of know your average win rate, average risk reward, 2.3, win rate. Yep. Okay. So that's easily profitable. So you have a profitable approach, but so the main issues are kind of risk and psychology, I'm guessing. Because I can go through my kind of technical approach, but it's only the peak. It's your behavior that's probably holding you back. Learning more about analysis won't actually like improve win ratio and risk to reward. There's always going to be a trade off there. The more you target, the less likely you are to win. It's not a bad thing, You need wins to be confident, to make money, but you also need losses to keep you in check, to improve. So there's a balance there. One's not necessarily good, one's not necessarily bad. It's kind of how you look at them. A bit of cognitive reframing, but losses aren't pleasant. It hurts the ego, it hurts the account, especially on prop firms. So every time you take a loss, it's a setback. You're setting off that goal, having to be more patient, and it's difficult because it's so target or goal focused in prop firms. That's what kind of makes it harder. So around 45% win rate. It's around here. So let's say it's 45%. You have a 99.6% chance of 6 losses in a row in a 50 trade period. So that's the reality of you trading profitably. Is that likely? You're taking 3 to 4 trades a day. So every month, this can happen. So yeah, when being aware of that is and seeing how it affects your trading, this is the hard part, going through this. These losing periods, these losing streaks, and not changing anything. If it's 40%, maybe you're more likely to do 7 or 8 losses in a row. So like 45, 2.4, that's really profitable. It's a really profitable system. Even if it's a bit lower, so like 44% win rate, I think that was close to what you're saying. That's still profitable. Over 100 trades, you make 47%, which is really good. But inevitably, if you want to be profitable, you have to get good at going through this. This is the hard part. Execute the analysis, the trading, the analysis of the strategy isn't the hard part. The technique isn't the hard part. This is. Would you think? Would you be able to go through that without changing anything? Yeah. So you have around, let's say, 45% win rate, pretty close to 50. So every time you take a trade, even if it looks amazing, you're flipping a coin. Every time you take a trade, you're flipping a coin. You might know that, but you don't believe that. That's kind of where that cognitive dissonance comes from. And prop firms will make you focus on winning, not really learning. But how do we kind of get around this? How do we accept that? With looking to change, improvements. So you're kind of aware of this issue, but how do we kind of make changes? You want to change, but it's kind of like, I want to eat healthier, I want to go to the gym, but I keep on breaking that. I set a plan to go to the gym. Tomorrow I wake up, I don't really feel like it, and then I don't do it. How do we do that? It's a couple of different things. So being intentional, focusing on, I guess, if you're trying to improve something, especially in your case, we're not trying to improve everything. We're just going to focus on one thing. It's a lot easier to improve something when you just focus on that. You can give a lot more energy. If you try to improve everything, you go in different directions. If you just focus on one thing, it's a lot easier to improve because you stack up those lines. So visualization is a massive tool, and it's a foundational thing of psychology. It goes into cognitive behavioral therapy, all that sort of stuff. This is like a foundational thing. So how do we use that to work on this expectation? So your actions are affected by your thoughts, which are affected by your expectations, which are affected by your beliefs, and that affects your performance massively. So you're visualizing the positive outcome. If you were to visualize the negative one, expecting to lose when you're going into a day, because I expect to lose, I still have a pretty high win rate. I target less than you. My wins are like 60, 70% depending on the setup. I still expect to lose because when you're visualizing the positive outcome, if you don't get that positive outcome, yes, you have 1 times the pain from the loss. You've lost that progression on that account. I hate setbacks in anything in life. So 1 times the pain, it's a bit of a setback. But when you've done all this positive visualization, you've created that fantasy in your head. You've set that expectation that you're going to win, and it's going to feel really good when you get there. Instead of it just being 1 times the pain, now your expectation is not being met. That fantasy is being ripped away from you. You're doubling that pain. It's double. I find is actually probably closer to 3 times the pain. Expectations being ripped away from you. That's the thing that in anything in life, if something doesn't meet your expectation, it causes you pain. So this is leading to a lot of your problems, and it led to a lot of my problems, especially with prop firms. That visualization. So catching yourself in that moment. When you start to visualize, that can be a good trigger to do the opposite. What is the opposite? So I have it in my routine, not just in prop firms, on personal accounts, where at the start of the day, in the morning, I normally meditate in the morning. I just added this at the end of my meditation where I visualize in as much detail as possible the worst possible outcome. So let's say my trade, I normally wait for a shift in structure. I'm visualizing that happening. I visualize myself entering that trade. I'm clicking my mouse. I'm placing my stop loss, my take profit, and then that trade's kind of maybe going in my direction. I'm visualizing the candles forming, feeling pretty good. Maybe it starts to reverse. Visualizing that as well. How am I feeling? I'm focusing on my breath, and then hits my stop. Visualizing my count being negative that percentage. How am I feeling? So I rehearsed the worst possible outcome. Maybe it stops me out and then goes my direction. I'm reversing the worst possible outcome. I'm calm. I'm in a calm state of mind. Mental rehearsal. I'm training the mind to be okay, to be calm when this happens. I'm setting an expectation through experience that this is okay. This would be a great opportunity to learn cognitive reframing. So those two things. Now it's only maybe 1 times the pain of the loss. That's a bit more manageable. I find when I've set that expectation, most of the time it's 0.5 times the pain. I'm more okay with that outcome because I know it's part of the process. I've set that expectation. I've set that decision that like I want to be good at taking this loss and not changing anything. Except in the reality of your system that this is going to happen a lot because 44% win rate, it's a profitable system, but you're going to lose more often than you win. That's the reality of your system. Maybe you need to win more often and maybe you need to target less. I can't say. That's another option. But this is kind of affecting the deeper stuff. So your beliefs, your expectations. This is more behavior. A bit higher up is look at the bad stuff. Always flip it as opportunities. Flipping that. Just go over that. Your success in trading, like in anything in life, is based on your relationship to suffering. That's a quote from Tom Hugard, Best Loser Wins. He's been trading for like 17 years. So maybe you exit your winning trades early, fail to accept, cut your losses, you add average down to those. Maybe sometimes you hesitate, overtrade, too big or too small. All these sort of stuff. This is what stops people from being profitable. This goes back to the behavior. This is the stuff that is stopping you from closing the gap from, you know what you need to do, but doing it is the hard part. How do you make mistakes? So we're motivated by emotions to change. So like when someone has a severe health condition, they're more likely to treat their health more seriously. They get into a better diet. They haven't been eating properly for like the last 20 years, but then they have a heart attack and then they completely change their life and shift because of that emotion. So maybe you're going to keep making this mistake until you've had enough disgust. I can't keep doing this. I can't handle it myself. I got to the point where I just kept on making the same mistake and I couldn't change, that I just got fed up. There's so much negative emotion, so much disgust with myself that I had no other option but to change. Maybe you're not there yet and there's not enough negative emotion. Think of it, you're flipping a coin. So it's a little bit less than 50%, but you're still flipping a coin every time you trade. Do you flip a coin and when it lands on heads and tails, let's say you flip a coin, lands on heads, you said tails, it doesn't land on your answer, do you get angry? Not really. So yeah, most people don't lose a flip a coin game. It's the discomfort and the pain, the ego. I think maybe you're trying to predict the markets instead of taking probability-based setups. That can be another thing. But the reality is, with your current system, you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose a bit more than you win. Maybe that's not for you. Maybe trading is all about finding your niche, business, a system that suits your psychology. If you're having like a lot of issues executing upon the system, maybe there's some disconnect there. Maybe you need a bit of a higher win rate. That's more of a band-aid fix. we can go. That's more maybe Brett Steenbarger. So that's changing your system to suit your psychology or psychological issues. If you go more this side, this is you and your human behavior. Most people, we feel the loss of we feel the pain of a financial loss 250% more than the satisfaction of a win. So that loss aversion, risk aversion really fucks with us. Out of 43 million trades, 25,000 traders, 65% of the trades were winners. So most people won more than they lost. Pain's going to be less if you temper your expectations through visualization. Just try that every morning. It's practicing. You're preparing your mind. It's mental preparation. The more prepared you are, the easier everything is going to be. Technical analysis, that's easy. You've prepared for that, but you're not mentally prepared. You're kind of mentally fucking yourself by expecting the positive outcome when you can be more prepared by doing the opposite of that. It helped me a lot when I flipped that because I kept on mentally fucking the shit out of myself. Flipping the expectation. Setting a belief that if I just focus on taking the best trades and executing my plan to the best of my ability, then it's inevitable that it'll pass. It doesn't have to be today, this week, this month that I have to win. It's inevitable that I keep improving that skill. I take better trades over time, and then I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to take the best trades. Detaching yourself from the external reward is difficult, but it's the only way to trade sustainably over time. I was like you. I still am at sometimes. It's difficult. It's a constant struggle, but not focusing on the external reward. You executing your system to the best of your ability, executing your plan to the T, that's the reward. Because the reward is, the benefit of that is that when you execute your plan perfectly or to the best of your ability, you're doing all the stuff you know you need to do. There's two rewards. Reward one is that when it's going well and you're winning, your balance increases, you get profits. Reward number two, if it's not going well, let's say you're still executing your plan to the best of your ability, you're doing everything you know you need to do, but you're still losing. Number two is that you're getting that character, you're getting that experience of doing that work, executing, even though things are going bad. So don't do something because it's easy, but doing it because it's hard, because it's hard, but know you need to do it. You're going to get so much benefit, character-wise, out of that over the long run as well. So there's always going to be a reward. It doesn't have to be external. Focusing more on the internally rewarding yourself for the best trading positions, consistency. Also, I find if I'm closing trades early, if I'm averaging down, that can also stem from a lack of confidence. Do you kind of doubt your system if you take multiple losses in a row? Do you just get angry at the outcome then? But like trying to fight with the markets? Yeah. So I would say I got to the point in my trading career where you have really good specific skills. Now it's not about that. It's about, so I found I knew what I needed to do. I just couldn't do it. If I wanted to master trading, I first had to master myself. If I wanted to become a better trader, I had to become a better person.